Humans can be stupid and stubborn creatures, can't they? I should know, I'm one of them, I think. I mean, you'd have to be stupid and or stubborn to sit through a trash pile as big as this one. X-Blades is one of those games. You know, one that gives us sane and generally socially adjusted enjoyers of the female form a bad name. Yep, X-Blades is a pretty good example of some higher up somewhere saying, "Sex sells," and the rest of the team responding to him by saying, "What's a video game?" And then the inhuman trash was born. Developed by Hungarian developer Gaijin Entertainment, this was a weird and rare example of what a shovelware bargain bin PS2 game would look like in HD. Promising non-stop hack-and-slash action in beautifully detailed environments, and a protagonist whose looks can supposedly kill, you'd think you'd be in for a wild ride. You'd expect Dante, but with tits. You know, like Bayonetta. Look, I won't beat around the bush here. This game is awful, and I'm sorta pissed off that the first game to use my fan service intro is this one. Oh well. Let's take a look and see just what's buried under this big, dumb X. This gripping fantasy story stars a scantily clad treasure hunter Ayumi as she does what her job says she does: treasure hunt. She finds her way to an abandoned temple and does something, causing some evil force or curse or whatever to escape and threaten the world, I think. It's not a very well explained, built up, or executed story. In fact, there is very little story here. Ayumi waltzes into the place, kills the things, does the dumb, and then saves the day by killing the things. It's incredibly nothing. Insanely written with some awful dialogue and just some dumb excuse to have a woman in as little clothes as legally can be called a design killing monsters. Nothing more to it than that. This game's gameplay is more shallow than the mud you'd find women pretending to be fighters fighting in for some low-effort male jollies. You may find that comparison in poor taste, but let me tell you, no taste is too poor for our girl Ayumi. Those women at least tend to sign up for it and hopefully get paid to do what they do. Cheeks here is being stuffed in mediocrity against her will. As mentioned, X-Blades puts you in the thong of a hack-and-slash girl, and your duty is to hack-and-slash the world. Now, hack-and-slash with guns and blades makes you think of Devil May Cry, and you'd be right to think that, but you'd be dead wrong to think that Ayumi is anything like Dante. From a third-person perspective, you roam around the arenas and hack-and-slash and shoot and jump and use skills to defeat various enemies. Sounds simple enough, and like Devil May Cry, it could be fun if done correctly. Unfortunately, just like how Ayumi doesn't know how to dress modestly, this game doesn't know how to do fun. There are no real combos to speak of, and combat devolves into mashing the square button until you or your enemies are paced, as there is no real way to defend yourself. As you fight, you'll build up Ayumi's rage, which will allow you to use one of 4 assigned skills. Skills are generally just a stronger attack, but some may have other effects, such as freezing your opponent, but most just do some kind of damage. Unfortunately, these skills are more important than the game lets on, as you'll later run into enemies that can only be hurt with specific types of damage, or even specific skills. To unlock skills, you spend souls earned by murdering the various enemies in the temple, or from breaking shit like an undisciplined child. There are various enemies, but very few of them really stand out, other than the fucking annoying ones, such as the ones that are shielded against specific abilities that run and face-fuck poor Ayumi with melee attacks or projectiles until one of you die. Other than that, the environments are separated into levels that are just rooms. Each room is just a battle arena that wants a specific thing done to progress. Nothing special at all. For a game that claims to have beautifully detailed environments, the game sure does look like a video game. Now, the environmental assets themselves are not terrible, but they are bland, like they were wholesale lifted from Shadow of the Colossus and then drowned in bloom. The lighting is kinda different to see on consoles at the time, but other than that, the game is just a visual and technical mess. Ayumi's model looks okay when standing still, and her design is fun regardless of how tasteless it is, but when in motion, she just looks bad, especially since her animations have no personality. The monsters all look generic as hell, the story character models look bad, the music is bland, the voice work is hilariously bad, performance is rough, and the animations are beyond amateurish in cutscenes. I hate to be so negative, but there is nothing good technically here aside from Ayumi's design. Now, all of this doesn't sound like anything we haven't seen before. A good portion of us survived the PS2 era trash pile, but I don't think you understand. This isn't just bad, it's painfully bad. There is no real strategy to anything, no variation to attacks or enemy behavior. Numbers and variables are tweaked as you progress, but nothing evolves, nothing changes, and the shooting and slashing felt like trash at the beginning. Ayumi sort of floats by everything, and even when locking on, you can just find yourself swinging past your target. Jumping removes all momentum, aside from Ayumi's generous jiggle, and there is little to no feedback from most actions in the game. Melee has notable feedback, since it's in your face, but skills and guns all just breeze past things. Performance is also as rocky as a tube television sent surfing down the stairs. Gameplay is beyond repetitive, some challenges are obscenely obtuse and require specific skills. There is almost no end to the complaints here. In person, I usually over-exaggerate as much as Dead or Alive's chests, but here, I am plainly not doing so. Now, I hate to be so negative, as I can't make any game outside of something in RPG Maker, but this game was literally painful to play. It always sounds like an exaggeration when someone says something is the worst game they've ever played, but X-Blades literally is just that. The combat, level design, environment design, performance, it all makes broken garbage like Sonic 06 look like a goddamn masterpiece. It's embarrassing stuff and, as mentioned, makes us men and women and other matter of beings of culture look bad. This is a game you make someone play on a dare. When playing Truth or Dare with the being of your fancy, you don't dare them to kiss you, you dare them to fucking play X-Blades. If they survive, you know they'll be the one. Ayumi's assets get rated a 10 out of 10, but the adventure she embarks on earns my first ever, and hopefully last, 1 out of 10. There is nothing for you here. Abandon all hope ye who enter here. P.S. I must legally inform you that I don't actually encourage daring people to play X-Blades. I'm not into that kind of torture.